was like, Tom! Tom! She's not a sheepshagger. She's a bull.
Hi guys, welcome back to the Creatures Comedy Podcast. We've got with us today, and I'm going to try and do it as Spanish as I can, Ignacio Lopez.
Oh, spot on. Perfect,
Yeah?
man.
Killed it?
Absolutely smashed it. Yeah.
Yeah, I tried to put on not like the Latin American, but like the Barcelona.
For the C and the Z, you need a sound. I got Russell Kane messages me every now and again if he posts anything with like a Spanish word in it.
Yeah.
And he'll send me like a full reel, and I'm watching him. He's like, why is Russell sending me this? He's said a Spanish word he's very proud of. 3 minutes into the reel.
Yeah.
It was good.
But you have to watch the whole thing to get there.
He got me. Okay, great.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's a great way to get extra views.
Yeah, he's racking it up. I bet he sends it to all his Spanish friends.
You know what? I find that I genuinely think, and I don't know if this is a conspiracy theory I had, but I'm pretty sure it's real.
Okay.
That a lot of shows, like TV shows and movies, are now multilingual.
To tap into different markets.
No. To get people off their phones. Because they have to read the subtitles.
You have to look at the subtitle. That's smart, man.
That's ingenious, right?
Yeah, it's better than the Netflix model of saying what's happening on the screen, like catering to those people on their phones.
Yeah.
I hate that, you know?
That's why every time I see it, like, there's a random character from Japan, and I'm like, oh, that's only because now I have to look up and be like, what the fuck is happening? Because I don't know what else is happening. Yeah.
Goddamn woke making us look at the screens instead of other screens.
Exactly, 100%. I'm trying to watch the new Godzilla TV show on Apple TV, and I'm like, the King Kong's on there. I'm like, yeah, but I'm more important scrolling.
I'm trying to Google Kurt Russell's net worth here. Don't stop making me look up and down.
He's had a good life.
He's been in some incredible films as well.
He has. What's your favorite Kurt Russell film?
I do love
We can go through his IMDb if you can.
Yeah, sure. I love Escape from New York. It's one of my faves.
Yeah.
Anything he's done with John Carpenter, The Thing is incredible.
Oh, yeah.
But I do love his city comedies as well. So Michelle, my partner, she adores Goldie Hawn, who is obviously his partner for life. But Overboard is just a Stone Cold classic.
Overboard is so good.
It's one of the best.
He's in Tombstone.
Yeah.
That movie is phenomenal.
Yeah,
I love Tombstone.
Yeah, Val Kilmer steals the show in it, but yeah.
Oh, for sure. Val Kilmer is an absolute... This is a comedy podcast, but all we're going to talk about is our favorite 80s, 90s actors.
Look him up. Tell us your favorite Kurt Russell movies. Stick them in the comments.
Yeah. Comment down below what your favorite Kurt Russell one is. That's Jack Quaid, who's the one in The Boys. That's not Kurt Russell. That's
because Kurt's son. Yeah, right. Yeah. Because Randy Quaid is the brother of Dennis Quaid.
Or is it Dennis Quaid's kid? Yeah.
Yeah. And then Dennis Quaid's kid is now an actor, but also Kurt Russell's son is also an actor.
That's right, he is. He was in that show with the nurse.
Yeah.
Oh, he's fun too.
Because the first time I saw him was in an episode of Black Mirror, and I was like, this guy feels so familiar.
Yeah.
And he's like, it's Kurt Russell's fucking son.
Like, you hate Nepo babies, but you kind of like to see them.
But also, what else is he going to do? You know, exactly. is he going to work in a diner where everyone's like, that guy looks like Kurt Russell?
Okay, but that's not the only job you can get is working in a diner.
What? Why am I working in a diner?
Yeah.
My career's advisor lied to me.
Wow. That's so funny. Yeah. Because I never wanted to be like, the whole Nepo baby thing. Like, what do your parents do? Like, are they...
Funnily enough, even though completely different industries to me, both of my parents were always self-employed. Mm-hmm. So it's a natural progression. So kind of like, I'm not in the same industries as them. Like my dad always had like bars and restaurants and like ran them in Mallorca. My mom's always had like kind of retail and that sort of thing, but they've always run their own businesses. So I've taken that kind of work model. Like if you don't work, you don't get paid. I just applied it to what I wanted to do, which was dick around on stage and post shit online.
Oh, that's so cool though, because that gave you like a good business sense.
Yeah,
I can imagine growing up.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still terrible at finances or whatever, but
sure.
Who isn't? My accountant, he's pretty decent actually.
That's good. You need to have a good accountant in this business. Helps with the taxes.
Yeah.
But that's great, man, because there's so many people who come into this, and doing stand-up is really you're self-employed. You have to do everything yourself.
Yeah.
There's your own business, and I think a lot of people don't realize that getting into comedy.
People think going into it, it's the same as any field. If they want to be a pro footballer or something, they look at the game. They look at the match. They're like, I'd love to do that. I'd love to do the fun stuff they get to do. But it's like, man, you got to get up every morning for training. It's a 7-day a week, 24-hour thing. You've got to think about this stuff all the time, and you have to be obsessed with comedy.
But even not just that, like not even just the writing, the performing. Like, I would even say that's 25% of the business.
It's the bit that people see, but like everything behind the scenes. I mean, even just starting out, filming your sets, putting them online, making content, trying to make people come to your shows. The promotion aspect, marketing. That's 90% of the job is marketing.
100%. Sure. You become a video editor. You become your marketing producer. Yeah. You become your own agent. There's so many people who I know who, especially in the beginning, make up a fake agent and send emails from like a fake made up person. So you legit have to be split personality to be able to actually manage yourself. Yeah,
I looked after my own diary for like.
Did you do it as a fake person?
I did it. I didn't when I started out, but I definitely used to sign off with my middle name. So Vincent was my agent for like for about 10 years, and I was like always signing off emails like that. And it was funny because it kind of gives you a different perspective talking about yourself in the third person sometimes. Yeah. It's like, oh, Ignacio is. I would avoid using the word free on this date because I was like psychologically it's planting that free. I want people to understand my word. So it's like Ignacio is available on this date. Like all shit like that. So that came many years into it. Many unpaid gigs.
Oh, but it's so cool when because I feel like not everybody has that in them, right? That's something specific that you develop for yourself. Yeah. And that's so fucking interesting. I love that. Is Vincent in the room with us right now?
He's not being paid. He's not getting paid to be here. So take some time off.
You should have given Vincent his own pay at what?
Get him on the payroll
at $12,570, and then he's not taxable, and then that.
Get my accountant on the phone immediately.
Go, let's go. Genius. But now you're doing your own diary?
Yes. So this year, 2026, I'm looking after my own diary again. I work very heavily with Gag Reflex, who've been doing my tour for a number of years. Good. Amazing. Yeah, I actually popped in because we're in Manchester and their office is here. Popped in to see them all yesterday, and it's fun because you don't get to see people face to face in this job very often. So I called into the office, had a coffee, and got to see them all. It's funny because they're in a building which is like. Like a kind of .com bubble startup.
Yeah.
In the
They're like that?
2000s. Well, it's in like it's lots of different companies in this one big building, right?
Okay, yeah.
So you got like a production company across, and they said that like Tom Hiddleston was in there a few weeks ago, and they were all kind of like peering through the door of their office trying to get a look and stuff. So
are they in the city?
It's not in the city center. It's not far though. I think it's like a 10-minute drive out or something. But
that's far.
I'll find out what the name of the building is, and you can go spot the celebs.
I'm a whore with that. Yeah. Like how people are like, oh, you just pretend to be whatever. I'm like, no, I love celebs.
Man, the thing is, like, I've got no problem walking up to somebody and talking to them and telling them I'm a fan. Whereas like lots of people are like this all of the time, right? Yeah. First time I went to Los Angeles.
I'm excited for this. I'm so pumped for this story.
So first time I went to LA, I met this guy from New York in a bar called the Saddle Ranch on Sunset Strip, right? Okay. And we stood there, and he was like, "Oh, what are you doing in town? What brings you to the US?" I was like, "Oh, I'm actually here to see a band. I'm going to see Nine Inch Nails." He was like, "Get the fuck out of here. That's what I'm here to see as well, right?" And I was like, "Oh, cool." So we got into chatting stuff, and he's like, "Oh, do you like Rage Against the Machine?" I was like, "I fucking love Rage Against the Machine." And he was like, "Oh, over in the corner there is Tom Morello." Yeah. And I was like, "What?" And he goes, and before he could finish his sentence, he was saying, "But don't go say anything, like it's not cool, we don't do that." I was like, Tom! It's Tom Morello! Everyone in the bar is looking at me like I fucking sat on a cockroach or something. I'm like running over there. I'm like, Tom! I go over to him, he's like, "Hey," he's sitting down. I'm like having a big chat with him. I'm like, "Oh, I'm such a huge fan. I saw you with Soundgarden in the UK. Like, I love Rage Against. I saw you guys at Reading Music Festival. Like, I was so impressed." I said, "Do you mind if we have a picture?" This is so long ago. The phone was like 8 pixels by a piece. If I got the picture up now, like, you'd barely be able to see it. But he's like, "Yeah, no problem." So we had a picture on my phone, which was like It was a Sony piece of shit phone, but it took these pictures. It was one of the first like picture phones. Take a picture, and I was like, "Oh my god!" And my friend from New York I just met like took the picture for me like begrudgingly. He didn't have a picture with Tom, and then like we walked away, and I was like back at the bar, and I was like, "Oh my god, I can't believe I just got to meet Tom Morello. Like I feel like electric." I was like, "Oh, he's one of the greatest guitarists of all time." And he goes, "Yeah," and we're chatting for a bit. He goes, "I'm guessing you're not much of a film fan." He was like, "What?" I said, "What do you mean?" He's like, "Do you like Amy Heckerling?" I was like, "Yeah, director of Clueless and stuff like that." He goes, "Oh, because he's with Breckin Meyer." So the guy Tom Morello was having a conversation with is the actor Breckin Meyer, who's also a drummer. They got like musical connections and stuff. And I was like, "What?" And he's like, "Yeah," but Tom was like, "Breckin!"
You went back to the table.
Same table. Tom Morello was like, "It's this fucking guy again."
That's so funny.
But I was like, dude, I can't believe I missed you, because he had like a big beard. He doesn't look like he does in like all of these movies like Road Trip or whatever. Like he looks completely different. So I'm like, oh my god, like you're one of the funniest like actors. Like really great to meet you. So I'm so sorry, guys. Do you mind if I have a picture with you? He's like, no, it's fine. I turn around to give my phone to Tom to my mate I've just met to take a picture. He's fucking vanished. He's disappeared. He's run out of there. So I get Tom Morello to take a picture of me and Breckin Meyer. This is pre-selfie. That's how long ago this was.
Funny,
but I'm like, you know, if I'm a fan of someone, if you know, I'm not gonna just run up to someone who's famous for the sake of it. But if it's somebody whose work I value and I think it's great, I'm gonna go tell them and I'm gonna gush over them and, you know, have a picture.
No, of course. I try to play a little cooler than that. I love the fact that you're just in the bar. Tom!
Yeah, I've leveled off a bit. This was like pre-stand-up and everything. Like since then, I think I've become a bit more chill in these kind of social situations. Yeah.
I was, oh god, even like hearing that story though, I thought the guy was gonna be like, "Do you like Rage Against the Machine?" Because I'm actually in the band. Like, or like when it came back to the film thing, I thought he was gonna be like, "How have you not noticed about me?" Like, he would have been like the little sleeper cell in the whole thing.
Yeah, I guess you're not much of a film fan. Like, what do you mean? Because I'm Keanu Reeves. What?
Why it was you the whole time? You grew a beard. So fun, man. It's so silly seeing people like that. I was in London. I met the rapper Kyle.
Oh, right.
I don't know if you know him.
Yeah, sure.
But then it was only the next day that I realized he was opening for Logic. Wow. And Logic, I'm 90% sure, was the white bald guy next to him, that I was too flabbergasted of meeting Kyle that I didn't even pay attention to Logic. Which is definitely like a level below Tom Morello.
Yeah,
but
sure.
Still.
I get it now.
Yeah.
I don't know if Tom remembers that night, but
I bet you he does.
This fucking Spanish guy came over to us in the Saddle Ranch. I've been back to that bar since as well. Every time I go to LA, I go to that bar. Yeah, it's not the same. It's
I've been
fun
to that bar.
Yeah.
I hung out with some comics at that bar last time I was in LA. Sunset Strip is so nice.
It's cool, man. Yeah.
Have you gone back as a comic to LA?
I have. Yeah. I did not work. If any people from American immigration are watching, or
never performed in
Never
America.
performed in the States, man. No, those pictures. I photoshopped all of those pictures.
That was
of me
Vincent.
On stage.
Vincent performed.
Vincent,
in
man.
America.
Immigration been after Vincent for a long time.
Bad boy.
One of the FBI's most wanted. Yeah, I did go out, and it's great because I mean, for me, I've been out to New York as well, but like LA is like every street corner has a comedy club, pretty much. Like somewhere, like you've got the iconic ones like the Comedy Store and stuff like this. But I was just walking down the hotel we stayed in. We were in like in Hollywood. We were staying in Hollywood, and the hotel we stayed in, my partner and I, there was like a club next to it that I swear to God looked like a strip club from the outside, right? It was completely painted black, no windows, you know, like a little kind of like sign. And we're in this thing, and I was like, I wonder, as we walked past it on the way to the hotel, like the bouncer sort of gave us a look and like a wink at us. I was like, the fucking creepy motherfucker, you know, get my girlfriend away from me. And we got into the hotel. I was like, I wonder what is in that bar next door. And I looked it up, and Sarah Silverman was playing there that night.
Oh
so I was like, what the hell? In there? So we went in, and it's like a proper comedy club in there. And I love that, you know? It's cool.
Yeah, LA, New York, they're both phenomenal for that. And you know, Austin's supposed to be that way as well. But I don't know, I feel like London has it. When I went to Dublin for the first time, I didn't realize how dense the comedy clubs were. Because
it's such a compact city, Dublin.
Yeah.
Like everything's walking distance, which is my favorite thing about cities.
Because there's so many tourists.
Yeah. Oh, for sure, man. You go into comedy clubs, and they will. What's great about it as well is they will have you there 7 nights a week in the same spot because it's a different audience every night.
Yeah, just turns over.
Just flying them. Like here, man. That's why it works. It's great.
Yeah, but that's why I think any major market just has such a vibe for that. London exists because of the tourists.
Yeah.
Manchester, I don't feel like has the same amount of tourism as all those
Not
other
the
places.
influx, no.
Yeah, and it's all just fucking football fans. So it's you really got to be okay, you German man who really wanted to come watch fucking Man City.
We did bump into, I think, 3 German people earlier in the street.
Did you?
Yeah.
There's a lot of Germans out here, man.
Individually, yeah. I told them the same joke 3 times. I know one joke in German, yeah.
There's so many people who just come to Manchester because it's the cheapest Ryanair flight.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
Dublin's like that, I feel, though. But for a tourism reason, they kind of just go there and yeah. But
from Europe for sure.
The clubs are great in Dublin, man. So because you always get at least 20% Irish people in the crowd, and they're always the best comedy crowds, and they're so fun anyway. And then bolster it with a bunch of Europeans and people just
that's what I was excited about. It was I'm so pumped to perform comedy in Ireland, and I'm but not the Irish people. It just feels like any other gig. It's when you do comedy in even a smaller market, if you go to, let's say, Barcelona or Thailand, and you're doing a gig, you're it's all expats. You're doing a hostel show. It's it's nothing special about this gig. Sure, you're in a different country, but it's not different. You just feel like you're in this bubble that exists. It's like you're performing in an embassy type thing.
Yeah, it's globalization, man. You know, Stop the boats.
Well, were you born in Spain?
Yes. Yeah,
Okay. So good. We're both immigrants.
It was clearly. I hope it was clear it was a joke. Otherwise, Ignacio Lopez cancelled. Him and Vincent out.
Hey, you never know, man. People come over here and they just want to pull the.
There's that's, I think, especially with second generation, a lot of the time they'll just disregard the shit their parents had to go through, and they'll be like, yeah, these bloody people coming over. It's where do you think you came from, asshole?
That's everybody. Yeah. People in North America, when they have that mentality, it's are you serious?
Yeah.
How do you think this place was founded?
And they're still kind of no, but I am Irish. It's how many generations ago? What are we talking about? Yeah.
So silly. But do you think you're gonna stay in the UK, or do you want to move to the States?
I don't think I'd move to the States. I think I'd love to. The dream is I'd love to.
You're still based in South Wales, right?
I'm based in Wales. My girlfriend started learning Spanish. I would like to spend 50%. The dream is 50% of the time in Spain, 50% in Wales, living.
Sure.
But man, I love to travel. I wanna go to Australia next year. I wanna do a few months out there.
Yeah.
I wanna do.
I know a guy.
Do you?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll chat later.
Okay.
Yeah. Email Vincent. But I love to gig in new markets. You're heading out to Estonia. I've done Norway and Sweden. I've never branched down to Estonia. But I love gigging in new markets and seeing what they have to offer. It's
so fun.
I get paid to go on holiday. Really, that's kind of that's the dream. That's not the reality, because typically you fly somewhere, you perform, you get the fuck out of there to the next location, right? Whereas if you can carve out a week like you are in Estonia, that's the dream, man.
That's my logic with the club is I really want to be here 75% of the time.
Yeah.
I want to be able to work here for the full month, but take 1 week off every month. Go do a week in London. Go do a week in Dublin. Go do a week in Barcelona.
Yeah.
And just do that as a tour. Instead of spending a month or 2 months constantly on tour, just a week out and just spending time in that market.
Yeah.
It's just so, why not?
But it's a viable.
Why not create the world you want to see?
It's a viable goal, and it's a great thing to work towards as well, because it's not going to happen every month. You know what I mean? Some months it's not going to work out, but that's just how the nature of comedy. Some months you're going to smash it and have exactly what you want, and other months it's going to be right, dig down deep because we're going to make the next month work.
Yeah. So. It's why I built this club, is because I didn't want to do the same kind of road dog, as you said. You're in a city, then you're out the city because you have to be going to the next one.
The amount of people I've met, one of my party tricks for a while was I could meet anyone from the UK, no matter what town they were from,
and have something.
And I'd be like, I've been there, and they'd be like, what? And I'd say the name of a pub or something in that town. And they're like, oh my god, this tiny little place in Cornwall, or the Midlands, or up north, near Newcastle or something. They're like, how'd you know that place? I was like, well, I've gigged gig there. I'm like, oh, what did you think of it? It's like, I've got no idea.
I
arrived at like 7 p.m. I went and did my show. We went to a pub after, and I left that evening, you know, to get to somewhere with a cheaper hotel. So like, I've got no idea what the town or city is like.
Yeah, but even that, like in England, I love going like 3 or 4 hours before.
Yeah.
I like to walk around the little town. I love to see the little farms. I love to check out the little rock shop.
Yeah.
Like, it's so cool.
Yeah,
I want to see the funny names of all the pubs.
Yeah, or like street names and stuff sometimes are hilarious. You can just get a laugh out of that. Like, there's some batshit crazy spelling and stuff out there. There's a town...
especially in Wales.
In Wales, but like, you know, even English places, you'd expect them to just be so straightforward. And it's like, I gigged in a place, it's in the Midlands, it's spelt Towester, right? Which is like, I was like, oh, how do you pronounce this? Is this Toester or Toast? And they were like, it's toaster. I was like, no, it fucking isn't, guys. I own a toaster. I've gone into a store. I've probably bought 3 toasters in my life. That is not how you spell toaster, right?
Yeah. It's not the Reading and Leeds Festival. It's the Reading and Leeds Festival. So fucking stupid. Didn't you guys invent the language?
I saw Metallica at Reading Festival, and they got such a kick out of calling it the Reading Festival over and over again. And you could see people in the audience, like some of them, like their veins were popping on their necks anyway,
so
but they were still like, "It's Reading."
That's sick. So so you're like a big heavy metal guy.
Yeah, I mean, not really. It's like I like the bands that I like, so I'm not.
Of course,
I don't like a. You know, somebody like Andrew O'Neill, for instance, is like
like a metalhead.
Yeah, and knows, has written the book on the history of metal, you know, whereas I love Nine Inch Nails, but when I was growing up, I love Rage Against the Machine, Nine Inch Nails, but I'm super into like the Pixies and Garbage, and like I was very much more into grunge when I was a teenager, but effectively, most of the time, if not industrial stuff like Nine Inch Nails, then like guitar-based stuff, you know, that's what I'm into. I was a musician for a long time. Love Santana. Do you know what I listen? I've got on my current playlist that I listen to all the time is Santana guesting on Lauryn Hill's album. It's just beautiful. It's just an incredible song.
Knows how to play the strings.
He does, and she's exceptional anyway. You know, one album, bam, doesn't ever need to release another one.
That's all you need.
Game changer. Yeah.
How do you find that your musical taste affects your comedy? Like, do you find there is a correlation?
There's the biggest one for me is like with my solo shows. I watch Nine Inch Nails every time I possibly can. I don't think
live or like recorded?
Live.
Okay,
yeah. So I will, like, I went this tour. This T-shirt is from the tour. They came and played in Manchester a few months ago. Was it last year? What the fuck is going on?
Time flies, baby.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. So I went to see them on this tour. I went to see them in Manchester, Dublin, Barcelona, Berlin, and London, right? So 5 times.
God, dude.
And for me, it's the greatest show I've ever seen in my life. This actual tour that they finished, right? I was like, this is, and I've seen them, you know, close to 40 times.
Sure. Are they playing the hits?
Some you know, newer stuff. They've got such a back catalog. It's incredible. And also, what I love about what I've taken and put into the comedy is like Trent's not afraid to mix it up. He's not just going up there and being like, you know, I'm just gonna be like Kiss, get into the costume, get there, play the hits, and like piss off. So he had like a B stage in the center of the arenas that he was playing, and he had like Boys Noise, the DJ, and they were doing like live DJ sets in part of it, like remixed. But from an audiovisual point as well, the whole show, they had like a live cameraman on stage with him the whole time, projecting on like 40-foot screens. It was like a live concert movie as it was happening. It's one of the most like phenomenal things I've ever seen. And every tour I do, I'm like, right, no more fucking tech next time. Just me and a microphone. I'm stripping it back. I'm sick of all of this stupid shit I'm doing on my tours.
Okay, yeah.
And after seeing the shows, I'm bringing cameras into it. I'm doing it. Yeah. But like from that, I'm like, because I give people like their money's worth. You know what I mean? I'm like, give them. So like when I'm trying to create a show, like I can write an hour of stand-up, but my shows are like 90 minutes on tour. So I'm like, no, give them. You know, I really want to give them the value I feel when I go to see a Nine Inch Nails, and I leave there going like, wow, I paid, you know, 70 quid a ticket or something, and I'm like, it was worth every penny. Like it's left me changed, and I think that idea of like mixing things up and doing stuff different, surprising people. I always do something on tour, which I feel like even my most ardent fans, I'm surprising them.
Oh, that's great.
Like on the last tour, which so I can talk about it now because it's not a
don't get the
spoiler.
surprise.
Yeah. So on the last tour, I worked jump scares into my show. It's like a horror movie because I had material about horror movies. So I was like, I'm gonna put jump scares in my show with like huge lighting changes and like shouting at them. I like people like jumping. And it was such a delight to watch a different reaction from a crowd instead of just like laughter.
It's so cool, right? In the same way that you're using the logic of like writing an email and saying that you're not free, you're available. you're using like specific things to, if you scare the crowd. Well, now the guy in the third row who's kind of falling asleep is not fucking falling asleep.
Now,
he's paying the fuck attention. So everything is like a meticulous choice. Like, how far into the show were you doing the jump scares?
It was coming. So because rule of threes, I was doing 3 jump scares. So it was kind of like in thirds of the show, and then so it was a nice kind of. It worked really well pacing wise, but also by the time the third one came as well, it's diminishing returns like anything else. But then I was getting a laugh out of that. So there is comedy value to the fact that I was doing it. And everyone, like, the first thing they do after they jump in a horror movie, anything, is they turn to their friends and they laugh. So it was great to kind of watch. There's other ways you can get laughter out of people other than a constructed joke.
Ooh, you get the rare scare laugh.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people getting those in Edinburgh. Ooh, that's a good one. Yeah, I every time I go see a concert, I try to like take a little thing of how the performance went and just try to figure out how to apply that to stand up or like what it means. Cause like, do you know Father John Misty?
Yeah.
Dude, I did not realize how sexually, like, it's just, I'm not gay, but I wanted to lick that man's chest. Like, he's up there and sure, the lighting, but he's like unbuttoned and just like, da, 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 da. And I'm like, this is phenomenal. Like, I've never seen one man have such control of a stage.
Yeah.
Because I saw him the night after I saw Schoolboy Q. And Schoolboy Q had everybody in the crowd just jumping and hyped up. I'm like, oh, there's no way that this show is going to be amazing. Same venue. It was during a festival. And I'm like, oh, this is so much better. Like, because he did this, like, cool, relaxed. He wasn't fighting for our attention. He was drawing us in. So I'm like, that's something. Because I always find, like, I get excited. I shout a lot. So I'm like, okay, well, what if I play with the opposite, right? And try to bring people into me instead of going to them.
Yeah. And
like that's such a fun way to play with it.
There's so I don't know if it's out yet, but Jimmy Carr has written a book about like this, like almost like the science of stand-up comedy, right?
Oh.
And he did that, and I was like, I will read the book. I think Adam Bloom's is like the gold standard of like these kind of books, right? But Jimmy Carr has written a book about it, and I saw him being interviewed about it. I feel like this is a guy who, whatever data he's kind of like accumulated, he's made it work in a very specific way, and he thinks that it can be applied like generally to all comedy. And I'm like, no, that's not. It seems like the antithesis of art, because he in an interview he was like, oh, I've done all the maths. I've been doing comedy for this length of time, and I figured out that comedy is performed best basically at the rhythm of like 90 beats per minute.
Oh, fuck.
And I was like, Jesus Christ, man. I was like, you fucking loser. I was like, this is, this is like anyone, like, don't start
you hear
applying.
That, Jimmy?
I don't give a fuck if I never do 8 out of 10 Castless Countdown. I was like, this is the most bullshit thing I've ever heard in my life. As soon as you start, because I was a musician first, as soon as you start writing music and you kind of like learn the 4-chord rhythm stuff, you find that the interesting stuff comes out of like breaking out of this bullshit framework of like very like squared paint by numbers bullshit. That's not art, what you're discussing.
You know what though? In that defense, that's if somebody like us, we've been doing comedy for years. We look at that and we go, well, that's stupid. Obviously, that's not how you do it. But somebody getting into comedy goes, okay, this is the best way. Those are the rules. You learn the rules and then you break it. Right?
But what I would say is like I've seen Jimmy live. I've seen him on tour like years and years ago. Like I've seen him a couple of times, and I was like, that explains a lot, because what Jimmy does, and there's a market out there for it, clearly, if we're talking about like that aspect of it. And what he does, he does his specific thing incredibly well, great. But for me, I'm like, I can't listen to an entire album of 90 beat per minute music. Like, don't get me wrong, I like another four rhythm, like 90 beat per minute. I can listen to a track like that. But if you're writing an album, like it needs to have like peaks and troughs and like differences and like variety.
Dude, it's the same. I went to go see Anthony Jeselnik. great comic, phenomenal joke writer.
Yeah.
But after an hour, I was like passing out.
Yeah,
It's the same note.
It's the same rhythm. It's the same, like, you know, cadence, everything. Whereas for me, I've always been like, I want to be like a one-man variety show. You know? I want to bring, I want there to be something in the crowd for everyone. I want it in the set for everyone. So I was like, I didn't implement like music into my comedy for a long time because I was like, I didn't want to be known as like a musical comic. So I was like, right, make it work as stand-up first. But then as soon as I started putting music into it, I was like, it's another, you know, aspect. It's another thing to make people enjoy themselves, and like, great, not 90 beat per minute music either, I should mention. But like, you know, you try and do, I try to write one-liners, I try to do observational stuff, I tell stories, I chat to the crowd. You want to make it this mix. So it's like I've seen it always more as a feature-length film doing stand-up rather than like a short movie or a sketch. You know, I'm not trying to do the same thing repeated ad nauseum right and through the whole show.
No, but you want all those things to fill up, build, lead to a thing, and close.
Yeah.
I think it's so good when a comic departs from trying to work on their 20-minute set and then starts to build hour shows. I think there's so much more artistic merit in it.
Yeah.
Where instead of you just trying to like kill in a bowling alley.
Have you gigged in a bowling alley?
Yeah. Come to Canada. We got a lot of bowling alleys.
There's nothing that makes a punchline that didn't work go down worse as hearing a bunch of pins get knocked down in the silence.
Yeah, but there's also nothing that crushes better than getting a punchline, killing, and then hearing a strike happen because it feels like yours. Oh, baby. If you hear it and then somebody goes, fuck, then you're like, oh, there's one pin standing. You're like, I didn't get that guy.
Gutter ball. I just say that after every missed joke.
Yeah, the modern tumbleweed. Yeah, that's so cool, dude. I love that, like, you want to add all that different variety. And also, a note that I was thinking on the 90 beats per second, like, that's the kind of comedy that will be replaced by AI so quickly. You're doing the robot comedy.
Are we not sure that Jimmy Carr isn't AI? I think we should do a check, actually. Has he passed the Turing test? That's what I would like to know.
I don't know if he has passed the Turing test. Like, if you mean, has he fucked dudes? Because Alan Turing was gay, right? I nailed that? Yeah. Sick reference. And he's from Manchester?
There's a street here, which is like the Turing test. And it's got the Turing Street or whatever it is, like Turing Road. And I was like, so many streetlights on here. That's where the capture idea came from, right? Point out the thing is the Turing test from the street.
But no, it is crazy to think that like have you seen the Rizbot?
No.
There's a robot that's like, he's got his own TikTok and stuff, but he goes and he like cracks jokes with people and stuff.
Oh no.
Yeah. It's so scary, dude.
I don't even want to know how many followers he has because it's insane amount, right?
Most
of them are bots, though. So
yeah. He's got his own fan base, dude. It's like doing comedy in India. Like, he's just got all the followers.
Do you know? Are you aware of dead internet theory?
That it's all just.
Eventually, it's going to be just all computers talking to computers, no human interaction whatsoever.
That's so scary.
Yeah, I feel like it's happening. You do see, like, something goes up, and like within 2 minutes, it's just got like 1 million comments, and it's the same thing. Pretty much.
And then you look at the comments and you're like, oh, that person has 0 followers, but following 100 people with a fake profile. You're like, none of this is real. And then you get caught in these conversations and you're like, none of this is real.
But that's where, like, you know, the whole kind of comedy thing, especially performing in clubs. Because, like, I love posting stuff online. And, you know, I did, like, a lot of stuff online, like, during lockdown. And I really got into it. I was like, right, I'm not going to just...
Yeah, but it's how you generate a fan base.
Exactly. Yeah. And also, you know, it's another way of staying in touch and connecting with people. I understand that it can be a really useful tool. My sister from Germany found me on the internet. Like, it's an incredible, the internet's an amazing place. Like, I didn't know, I never knew her until she found me when I was 18 years of age online.
Oh, can we get into this story?
Yeah, we can. Yeah, sure, man. So my sister, Stephanie, I do jokes about it on stage and people come over after and they think it's a complete joke, right? Yeah. But my dad had a family before he met my mother. And my sister, I knew I had a sister, but I didn't know anything about her. And I grew up just not ever knowing her. And then when I was 18 years of age, my sister had found me. I don't know if she was looking for I've got the same name as my father, Ignacio Lopez. I don't know if she knew that my dad was living in Wales at one point. So I don't know if she was looking for Ignacio Lopez, Wales or whatever. And she found my MySpace page.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, with Rage Against the Machine on there, of course, playing as the intro music and Nine Inch Nails and stuff. But she got in touch with me and she was like, look, I don't know if you know this, but I'm your sister. So I was like, oh shit. I had no idea. I was like, oh my God, this is actually her. So messaged back and forth a few times. Older sister, yeah. And then I booked the flights to Berlin like that weekend, I think. And went over, spent a weekend in there. And it's like we grew up together. It's crazy.
Oh my God.
Yeah. But that's the beautiful thing the internet can harness, right? There's obviously a million negatives. It
shrinks the world.
Yeah, for sure. And I love that, but I still needed to fly out and meet her in person. I wouldn't have been satisfied with just like a kind of online.
We'll
just keep messaging.
Like a Skype.
Yeah. So I was like, no.
Especially at the time, it was MySpace. There was none of that.
Yeah, no video calls at that point. So I was like, right, let's get out there. Let's get. I'd never been to Berlin before, so it was great to have seeing it through my sister's eyes and getting introduced to that.
Are you guys still in touch?
Yeah, absolutely. And she's been out to the UK. She watched a couple of shows over here and stuff, which has been nice. So I did jokes about it at those shows, and then after people coming over and go, oh, what was that real about? I was like, this is her. This is my sister. So that was really fun.
Oh, that's so fun. I'm glad it was like that story, and you knew that you had a sister beforehand.
Yeah.
I've heard so many, and I'm so fascinated about like guys who've had two separate families.
Man, I've spoken to people in the audience where.
Oh, you must get it all the time where people connect with you on that.
Well, there was a lady who she found out that her father wasn't her father from doing one of those 23andMe DNA tests, and like she presented it to her mother. And like so it was her grandfather, sorry. So she found out through doing her DNA test. She always thought she was like half Irish. DNA test comes back, she was half Italian.
What?
And she was like, what? She like spoke to her mother. Her mother's like, what are you talking about? Like my granddad's Irish, like my dad's Irish or whatever. Spoke to her mother, the grandmother passed away, they know Italian. Spoke to somebody else, and were like, well, there was this Italian guy.
No.
Yeah. So she found out that like her whole thing about like Irish ancestry stuff, like that wasn't the case, and her father, she knew absolutely nothing about it, but she did then because of the 23andMe. You get connected to like people with the same DNA and stuff, right? So she's got like a whole family in Italy she never knew about.
Oh, that's so crazy. I want to do that, but I really don't want to do that. You don't want to like take a swab and find out your mom's a whore. Like,
I'm not
so bad, dude.
I'm not willing to do that. I think my brother did, but my family is such a mix as well that I'm just worried to see what else would turn out. Like, in my family, my dad was born and raised in Morocco, which is like Spanish family. My mom's half Welsh, half Irish. I got a half German sister. I'm worried they would come back and be like, fuck, there's French in there as well. Like, now I got to go learn French. So I don't want to have to deal with that, to be honest.
My mom did one, and she found out she's like 98% French.
Right.
Yeah.
Did she know that be going in, though?
Yeah.
All right.
Like,
okay.
So if we trace back, like, on my grandfather and grandmother's side of my mom, so like her mom and dad, it's like the generations is like the second and maybe fifth families, like generation who moved over from France to Canada.
Wow, okay.
So we're like, we're the ones who killed the natives. Like, it was pretty bad.
It's not nice finding out you're the bad guys, is it? No.
Well, and then my grandmother on my dad's side is Welsh. So
oh, cool. Yeah, of course.
I got 25% Welsh and then 75%.
Well, what's interesting is like there's a big community. So like Breton in France, that's all like Celtic, like the Welsh as well. So
really?
So their languages are almost identical, the Breton people and the Welsh. And there's a place in.
So does that mean like they just use like a lot of butter for lube when they're fucking the sheep? I'm sorry.
Oh man, do you know what? As soon as I say my mom is like half Welsh on stage, I reckon a good like maybe every 6 times somebody will do a sheep noise or whatever, or like sheep shagger or whatever like that. So I had to write material about that, and like I get bored of doing my own jokes about it. You know what I mean?
But my favorite thing is because my grandmother's Welsh. You'll get that.
Yeah.
But instead of saying like, oh yeah, she fucked sheep, I'll go, well, she didn't fuck them. I guess she fingered them. I think there's something so funny about like fingering a sheep.
So what I say is, I say if somebody's like says sheepshagger, whatever, I say, are you listening to a word I said? I've just told you my mom is Welsh, my dad is Spanish. She's not a sheepshagger. She's a bullfucker. Nice, it's kind of like play with the stereotypes, play with the stereotypes, have a response because somebody's going to shout. That's not 90 beats per minute. I'll tell you that fucking much for sure.
At 69 beats per minute. Sick, man. Well, some of the questions that we ask on this podcast, which, oh my God, this is flown by. It's like, what's the biggest show you've done, and what's one of the weirdest places you performed?
Oh, wow. Okay. Biggest show. I mean, I've done the biggest one for me in terms of like, it was the dream when I started. It was doing live at the Apollo. Like that was huge. Yeah, Hammersmith Apollo. I've seen bands there. You know what I mean? I went to see Tool play in that venue, and I was like, oh my God, I actually get to go in and do this. But I think when it happened as well, I was in a place where like, yeah, I'm ready for this, and I went into it, like really enjoyed it. Treated it like a club gig. You're only doing 22 minutes or whatever it is anyway. So I was like, great, this is fantastic. But for me, even though it's a smaller gig, the biggest one for me was I sold out. There's an art center in my mom's town in Wales, Pontardawe Art Center, which is kind of like an iconic little venue. It's only a 400-seater, but I sold it out only 2 nights in a row. No, I think I say that because, some people have done much bigger gigs than that. The Apollo is bigger than that. For me, like that's great numbers on my tour. If I can sell out a 400-seater, that's fucking incredible.
But back-to-back, 2 nights in a row.
I didn't expect to sell out the first one. So like to sell that out and they'd be like, oh, do you want to add a Sunday? And I was like, yeah, okay. And they're like, oh, we'll put it earlier because people... And then that one sold out as well. And I was like, wow, this is... Like for me, they felt like bigger shows. And and I think like it was cool because my mom was quite proud of that as well. Because... we think comedy is way more important than it is. Like for me, I'm like, I did shows this place. Yeah, I've been on this television show, whatever. People couldn't give a shit about that. We are practically invisible to most of society. Yeah. But if my mom can point at like the Pontardawe Art Center to people and say like, my son sold that out 2 nights in a row on his name, that's for me, that was the biggest show I've ever done. Is twice in a row as well.
Yeah. Oh, so cool. And then like, how big is the town?
Very small. It's like it was a village right up until in my lifetime it's changed, I think, from a village to a town. Yeah. So I don't know what the metric is for that, like how they decide it's a town now. Sure. I don't know if like it's a kind of like as soon as one more person comes into the via the road, they're like, right, this is a town now, we got enough people.
Yeah, it's like the hokey cokey town. It's not.
Yeah. So it's only a few thousand. So there's it's quite interesting because like I probably had a good percentage of the town at both nights.
Which also has got to make your mom feel cool because now it's like everywhere she goes, now she's like, the mom of the, That's so cool, man.
But man, I've done some weird gigs as well. I've done weird gigs in Pontardawe, actually. Okay. Way before I was, doing shows under my own name and stuff like this. There was a show I did in... I always get, like... the hairs on the back of my neck stand up when I show up to a gig and it's outside. Okay. And you didn't know it was going to be outside. Yeah. So I showed up to a gig outside a pub. I showed up to the pub and I was like, oh, performing at the comedy, this evening. And they were like, oh yeah, you're outside. I was like, oh no. And it's like a beer garden.
And then they hand you a wireless mic. You're like, oh God. And there's a handful of batteries in case that one dies.
Where's the receiver for this? Oh, it's 3 buildings over, actually. I hope it manages to last. And I'm like, oh shit. It's cutting out every other word. Oh, funnily enough, I did a gig. Oh man, I did a gig last week where the wireless mic kept cutting out in this cricket club. And I was like, whatever, man. I said to the guy before I went out, I said, if it cuts out, I'm just going to put it down and I'll use it. And I'd watched the MC go up there and work so hard. Jamie Sutherland, actually, I don't know if you know him coming. He was like smashing it. Jamie, but the mic was cutting out every other word. And it always seemed to cut out like on a punchline, Yeah. So the audience were like, missing every other joke. And I went up and I said, I'll see if it happens with me. And it was happening like quite severely. And I was like, we're missing every other word here. I was like, we're missing more words than the Epstein files on this one. But it cut out when I said Epstein files. No. So the 2 comedians sat next to me were like pissing themselves. Yeah. And I was like, I'm going to have to repeat that again to the whole crowd. And I said, it got nothing.
The Epstein Files! What the fuck? What is this guy on?
So I put it down. I did the entire thing a cappella to a room that was way too big for it. I was losing my voice by the end of it. But this gig outside in Ponta d'Au, they're like, oh yeah, you go out there to the thing. And I went out. It was like picnic tables. Half the audience got their backs to me. People don't even know there's stand-up starting. It's sunny, you know. It was a complete disaster. And what made it even weirder is that it backs onto a canal, right? So in Ponta, there's a canal runs through it, but you can't see the canal. There's like a wall and stuff, but you can hear it kind of like running and stuff, the water running past. And then beyond the canal, there's a main road, all right? So I'm there performing outside with this canal behind me, and you can hear like people. Every so often you can hear a conversation starting, and then they're getting close. You can hear bits of their conversation, right? So like I'm performing. I don't know if everyone can hear it, but like I'm hearing these people walk past.
Yeah.
And then because I'm amplified, I get people like answering my questions from over the wall, like stuff I'm saying. So I'm kind of like saying, where'd you work, pal? None of your fucking business. I'm not talking to you. It's just I'm getting heckled from over a canal followed by a wall, you know?
Yeah, you're getting heckled in surround sound.
Yeah, that was a pretty weird one. I've done gigs with I don't know how many gigs you've done with dogs in the audience.
Yeah, I've done some dog ones where they've run around. We've had dog ones here.
Yeah, every now and again you'll find a gig, you'll be doing it, and it's a dog-friendly venue, and you'll have a dog there, and they're always well-behaved or anything, right?
Yeah.
But I did a gig one time. It was for a dog's charity. It was for it wasn't Dogs Trust. It was one of those.
There was a lot of dogs?
It was like, I would say a third of the audience had dogs with them. All right.
No.
And it was like, you know, they're all, most of them are very well behaved, apart from one dog who sat in the front, who I swear to God, he's like baring their teeth and growling at me the entire night. And I'm not like, this dog is small enough that I could have punted it across the crowd, right? But I don't want to do that at a dog's charity if this dog comes at me or whatever. But it's kind of like growling every time I'm reaching like maybe a certain cadence or like a certain sound on the microphone or something.
90 beats per minute.
And yeah, 90 beats. This is a muso dog. He's really into music, and he's kind of like this boring son of a bitch. Yeah. 90 beats. Come on, man, give us some 5/7 time signature shit. Oh yeah, I'm like really trying my best, but he's growling the whole time. And we finished the show. Like all of the ice come off, and we're like, oh, that was a weird one. You know, performing like occasional yapping and stuff going on, or like little yelps and stuff, and this dog growling or whatever. And we get backstage after, and I was like, fucking that dog was just growling the entire time. And they were like, what dog were you talking about? I was like, the little dog in the front, like the fluffy like caramel colored dog. And they were like, you didn't growl at me or whatever. I was like, what are you talking about? And you know, I'm not the darkest comedian on the circuit, but I speak to the lady after, and she comes over and she's like, oh, thank you so much. And she's got the dog in her arms. He's a bit well behaved. He's like looking at me very suspiciously. Yeah. And she said, oh, I'm sorry about the growling and stuff, but like, he's a little bit racist. And I was like, what do you mean he's a little bit racist? Dogs can't understand accents. And she was like, no, it's just like, you know, the darker a person is, the more, yeah. And to be honest, like I haven't, you know, I stay out of the sun as much as I can and stuff, but she was like, the darker a person is, she was like, this dog, like, you know, growls. She said he'll bark at the TV if a black person comes on the TV and stuff. And I was like, so I was just over the threshold. Yeah. And the dog was like, I don't know. I'm not growling the whole show, but like baring the teeth and stuff. I mean, that was one of the weirdest gigs I've ever done. Yeah.
Yeah. Getting heckled by a racist dog is definitely up there, dude. Because like I was gonna share my story about like, because in Toronto when I was like cutting my teeth, we had pot lounges where you could like smoke weed inside and do comedy. Yeah. One of which was in the back of a place called the Hot Box Theater. So it was an outdoor show.
Great name for a theater.
Great. Yeah. So you're in the back. Well, it's the Hot Box Cafe. Yeah. So we're in the back and everybody's like smoking weed in the back and you're telling jokes to them as the sun's setting. And there's a tree back there. And then every once in a while, the raccoons would come and like just fucking just be there, and you're getting heckled by raccoons, and they look like they're little burglars, and they're so adorable, and they'll like pop down, and you're trying to do jokes, and the raccoon's walking around you, and everybody's like, what the fuck is happening? And you're like, yeah, you can't keep an audience focused, especially they're high as fuck.
Yeah.
They're like, chill, bro, there's a fucking raccoon. Like,
I just remembered something that happened. Yeah. So this was over a decade ago. I was doing Jongleurs in Nottingham, okay? And it had moved venues a few times. And at this point, it was in a club that used to be a cathedral, I think. Like it's huge, or like a church, something.
Yeah.
It's a nightclub, massive ceiling.
Love it.
Tiny stage. We arrived at the venue. The audience, because it hadn't sold well that night, the tables were about 20 feet apart.
Oh, no.
Stretched out over this whole cathedral of a space. And I got there and I was like, can we not move the tables closer to the stage? And the manager was like, oh no, we can't, we're trying to make it look busier. I was like, you could fit a comedy club between the tables of this venue. Like, you move it closer. They were like, no, not happening. So, okay. So we ended up, I think maybe there was 40 in there in a room that could easily fit 500. It was a big old room. And we're there performing and the bar is close. And I had been on, I think I was opening. And then the next act was going on. And there was dripping coming from the aircon, right?
Okay.
This made the news, what I'm about to tell you, right? There was dripping coming from the aircon. And like everyone had their tables and their pints and stuff like that. And you could just see like drips going into the pint. And the acts were kind of like we were kind of like making jokes about it. So it was like, oh yeah, let's put the guy with the electrical device like close to the dripping from the aircon or whatever. Like, yeah, it's been a problem for a while. We don't know what it is. And there's a guy in the front with his pint glass there and there's like drips going into it. And the comedians were all commenting, and one comedian was getting like, it started coming down a lot heavier in the last section. And the comedian like looked down into the pint glass and he was like, oh, you got to drop water. And he was like, that's not it. And they went closer. Maggots. Maggots were raining on the audience. And the manager comes over and he was like, what? We showed it to him. And like the people in the front were like, oh my God, like it's a fucking maggot in my pint. There's a maggot in my pint. And the guy came over, the manager, and he said, oh, we'll get you a fresh pint. I was like, that is the least of our problems right now, mate. Yeah. I was like, this gig's over, and he was and then it really started bucketing it down like maggots and stuff. And what had happened is a bird had got into the duct somehow, died in the air conditioning unit, and then weeks and weeks later, its festering body had rained down on the audience at the comedy club.
Well, luckily they were all sitting far apart. that's a positive. Oh man, look, thank you so much for coming to do this podcast.
My delight,
that's I think the best story to close on because I'm gonna go be sick in the toilet. But thank you so much for coming to do it. Do you have anything that you want to plug?
Yeah, man. Come anytime I'm gigging anywhere near anyone, especially I'm coming to Manchester as well. ComedyLopez.com. Check out my tour dates. Watch whatever I put out there. Catch you out there.
Dude, you're the best. Thank you. Good night, guys.